Good morning and welcome back to Plannercraft. I'm Natalie and today we are going to be doing a snow globe themed card. So, first of all, let's have all the hellos and let me know that you're watching. And then we'll get started. So, today I'm working with some Sweet Bobby stencil stamps. And these are going to be our focal point for our snow globe. We have our snow globe stencil, and then I've pulled out some blending brushes ready, so you're going to find that's the easiest way to get the colour through your stencil and most accurate. And I'm going to be using lots of colours as I go along. So I have I think it's 7x5 card, and that's roughly about the same size as my stencil. I'm actually going to be working my stencil onto a blank piece of A4 card so that we can cut it out and mend it up. So let's get started. I'm going to be using a magnetic mat just to hold that stencil in place. Saves faffing with lots of masking tape. And good morning, Thea. So these magnets are powerful, so just go careful where you're putting them so they're not snapping together. Morning, Deb. So, I was going to say, Mr. is still feeling very rough at the moment. So he's in the walls, bless him. So let's start with our stencil, and this is going to act as a mask. Now I'm going to pop that onto my card so I've got a good white border around, and we can actually fit that with our magnets like so.
Morning, Sally.
Morning, Sally. It's been a while since I've seen you live. So, let's pull out some colours. So, I'm going to bring in some spun sugar. And I'm going to work with inks today because we want to layer up our colours. A little bit of mild lavender. Speckled egg, and finally let's go for weathered wood. So that should give us a nice tone for our snow globe. So there are two ways of going about this. The one is to do your blending for your glass first and then do your landscape inside after. Or you can start with your landscape and then do the toning for the glass as like your secondary thing. Now what I would say is, if you want to put a highlight onto your snow globe so it looks like it's round, then you need to bear that in mind both with your stamping and with how you are going to do your inking. So you're probably going to want to do your glass colouring first. So let's get started. Now, because I'm using inks, I'm going to use different blending brushes to when we're using oxides. I'm just going to give it a quick clean just to make sure that we've got all of our ink out. And I'm just doing that onto a dry bamboo cloth. Now it's quite important that it's dry at this stage because we're going to be going straight to our inks after. So you want to make sure that your blending brush is dry and not damp. Okay, so once we've done that, we're going to start off with our lightest colour first. So in this case we've got our spun sugar. So if we think about how our landscape goes, typically your blue colours are going to be up in your sky, and then you've got your snowy scene down the bottom. So that means that when we come to do our glass, we kind of want to think the other way around. So your your white for your snow is going to reflect up here, and the blue from the sky is going to reflect down here. So let's start with our pink up in this top half. And I'm just going to very lightly go over this one side here. Now, you may think, oh, you can't really see that. But in actual fact, it's going to be darker than what you think it is for starters. And it's much better to build up your colour gradually. So, in terms of where my pink is, I'm focusing on this curve here, but I'm staying away from this outside edge a little bit. Because when we come to put our sky in, that's going to kind of complete our globe there. So I'm just going to blend what's in my brush back out across the globe, like so. So far so good. So now I'm going to go to my blue. So our blue is going to reflect down here, and I'm going to go to speckled egg. Again, little tap. Now this is a newer ink pad, so you're going to need less of it. Now it's going to mix with what you still have on your stencil, so you're going to start to get a few little purpley shades in there, but we can emphasise that with our milled lavender. Okay, so just blend that out. And you'll notice at the moment I'm not masking anything else down here because these colours are really soft, so we don't have to worry too much. As we start to get darker colours and when we're stamping and things, you're going to want to cover that up a little bit. So, milled lavender is going to go right down this bottom edge. And I'm going to literally take that along our base here, so that we want it so that our globe is going to curl back under itself. And you're always welcome, Sally. Okay, so far so good. So now I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. Now this is where I could have done with picking one up first, because I know I usually have some floating around my desk, but I tidied up. Shouldn't have tidied up.
Take that printer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
If you can get to it.
I was going to say, if I can get to it, that's what I big here at the moment. So, we are going to do a little bit of masking and tearing. So, I'm just going to do a really wavy tear. Okay, now we can use sections of this, so hence we give ourselves a nice long tear so that we can go, okay, I want it to be a little less hilly so you can twist it. So I'm going to start off with my horizon, so I'm just going to lift the one magnet just so I can slide that underneath, and we're going to go there. And if you want something to hold that mass down, I'm just going to use the little stamp position like so. I'm going to go back to my speckled egg, and we're going to softly build up our colour. So I'm working off the edge of my paper, and remember, less is more, and we're going to go right up to the edge of our snow globe. Now when we do a rotate motion on our pad, we're going to pick up a lot more ink. So you can always just do a little tap. Now think about where your highlight is on your snow globe as well, so that you don't accidentally go over it. Now, just because I need to get right up into that corner, I'm just going to move that one magnet. I'm going to go off the edge of the metal, and you're going to get quite a dark edge there, which is kind of what we want, so that the scanning cut can see it when we get that far. Okay, let's move that over there for a minute. Now if you weren't using your scan cut, what you can do is keep this edge lighter, and it's going to look like it's kind of backlit, but because we want to have the scan cut able to see that outline, we need to go a little bit darker. Okay, a little bit more just over on this corner here, and I think then we'll be good to go. Next, we're going to go to our weathered wood, and we're going to do pretty much the same again. So we're just going to go down these sides, but just the sides. Like so. There we go. Now when we pull this away, we should see a nice clear snowscape. So I haven't unstuck my mask yet, just in case I needed to put a bit more in, but I think that's doing pretty well. So let's move that off, unstick our magnet, and we're going to twist and move our mask again. So this time I'm going to go more this way. So on with the magnet. So again, weathered wood at the sides. And back to our speckled egg. We can blend all along that line. So you're using very, very little bits of ink here. Okay. And finally one more good measure, and this time we're going to go like so. So you don't want to at any point cross what you've already blended, so you wouldn't have that mask up above like that, for instance, because it just wouldn't look right. Okay, so now I'm going to take that off and away. Let's see what we've got going on. So that's not looking too bad. It just needs to get a little bit darker down here. So let's turn that around. So we've got a a reasonably straight edge. And like so. And I'm going to get a slightly different shape blending brush. So if you have the like makeup set version of blending brushes, you'll have a flat one like this. So there's very little width to it, but it's really good for doing lines. Oh, Carol, you nearly missed us. That's no good. As it was, we had a few little technical issues to sort at the beginning anyway, didn't we? So I'm just going to go with a bit of lavender at the bottom. Just to blend that in, and then I'm going to go to the weathered wood. So then we kind of got our pinky tones as well as our blue tones. So we're going to weathered wood rather than the speckled egg because it's going to give us that shade darker, and we want this bottom section to be nice and dark. I'm just going to take this up this edge here and a little bit up this edge here, so it's just going to blend that out like so. There we go, and that's looking really nice. So at the moment you could put pretty much anything in that snow globe. If you wanted to do the 3 wise men going across the Sahara, then you can add a bit more of a yellowy tone to it and do it that way. If you want to put Santa in his sleigh, you can do that too. So I wanted to use this lovely Christmas tree image that we have. So it's a nice big stamp, but obviously our snow globe is only little, so we kind of have to be a little bit clever with our masking. Now, if you want your tree to start at the bottom of your snow globe, you don't need to move your mask. You can just do it as is. If you want to put it behind this first bit of snow here, you want to match up your mask like so, and you stamp it then. If you wanted to do it onto the next section, you'd move your mask to match and stamp it then, so on and so forth. So you can decide how far back you want to push your tree. So I'm going to pop that there, I think. And then let's get our stamp. Now, because of these magnets here, we're going to struggle a little bit to get us our stamp where we need to. So I'm just going to drop down to a ruler just there. It's going to hold the mask in place, but it's going to be a little bit shallower. Now this side, we're going to have to be brave and wing it. Okay. Now, let's go for my stamp block. Now I only need to ink this top section, so that's all I'm really worried about in terms of having my stamp block on my stamp. Just make sure that didn't move too much. Should be alright. And you can either stamp with a distress oxide that matches your background colours if you want to put it softer into the background, or you can stamp it with black as normal. So I think I'm going to go let's go weathered wood, just because I don't want it to be so overpowering that it's in black. I'm just going to ink the top section of my tree. So oxides generally you'll find are better for stamping than inks are, so that's why I've swapped to the oxide. And let's see how we go. So I'm going to line that up, make sure that your ink's right up to that masking tape. Note the magnet if you need to. And place down. And off we go. Now, oh, somewhere hiding behind here. Here's my little stamping tool. Now, because we're working over a mask, you want to add a bit more pressure than what you would usually do. So hence I'm using the tool just to help me out a little. And you want to particularly focus on the edges of your mask. So get a good edge to edge. If need be, if you need to touch it up, you can touch it up, but ideally we want to get it right first time. And peel that away, and that's not bad. There's a few little bits just there, but I think we can work with that. Okay, so let's move my mask out of the way, and we have our tree, and it just needs a little touching up with a grey pen. So thinking, actually, rather than go pen, just because I happen to have them nearby and to hand, let's put pencil instead. And because you won't get a perfect match, I'm going to pull out a couple of shades that we can use. So, let's go with that one. There we go. You've got a lot of pencil tins. So, I'll pop that back in a minute. But we can come in here and we can actually, don't be afraid to move your work to make it easier for you to work. And we can just join up the lines. So first bit, nice and simple. And that one's going to go all the way over here, and it's kind of pulls back there. There we go. So now I'm going to come in with some blue, and we can use some of that to just tint our line, and we can slowly start to match that up. Don't worry about the music at this point, just join up the lines, because we're probably going to put some little characters and things in there anyway. There we go. So that'll do. Not looking too bad. So let's get our mask back in place. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to cover it up the other way. So that's going to go there. And there, one there. And we can concentrate on our base area here. So I'm going to start off by doing this line, and let's go back to our strongest colour first. So our weathered wood, And this is actually going to be the lightest colour that we're going to put onto this section, because we want it to be nice and strong. So I'm going to concentrate that. If your highlight's here, your highlight's going to be down here. But you kind of want your highlights to tone with your glass of your snow globe. Just makes sense. Like so. Now, let's go black. So I've got black soot, and I'm going to pull out hickory smoke so that we can build up our colours. So I'm going to start off with hickory smoke, and I'm going to give this a good coating on the bristles. And we're going to start from this outside edge, like so. Same again for the other side. Now you'll notice I've left a little bit just here, and that's where our black's going to go. Have a good scrub. And off it up. We're going to take a bit this side too. There we go. Now I'm going to skip a section, and I'm going to go down to the bottom. So let's use our torn section, and we're going to try and imitate that curve. So I want to try and skip these middle bits, but it's the feet that I'm kind of looking for. I'm going to go back to my weathered wood now that I've got the excess off my brush, and a little bit in there. It's a bit like brushing your teeth. Oh, and just make sure it doesn't shift, because otherwise you get like a kind of double vision going on, and it's a bit weird. You feel like you've had a bit too much on a night out. Yeah, he's still in the wars, bless him. He's pained. So, you're kind of in and out at the moment, aren't you? You're kind of in and out at the moment, aren't you? Okay, so just going to do a little bit just there, and just here. There we go. I think someone's just messaged me on Facebook. Oh, right, okay. So, with that done, we can kind of look at this centre section. So I'm just going to go back to my big brush, but before I do, let's use this cloth here. Just want to get any excess ink off this section here, because we don't want to accidentally drag that in. So just use a clean cloth just to get that off, and go careful not to go over any of your actual detail areas, otherwise you risk damaging your self or your cloth. Cloth not so important, you on the other hand. Much more important. There we go. Let's just get it in the right place. So now, just seeing if there's a bit that I can use just to mask that. I think I might go straight, might be easier. Okay, pop that there. And I'm going to go to the lavender. I could start off with the spun sugar to make it look like it's kind of lit from inside. But I'm going to go to the milled lavender first. And I'm not worried about the feet too much at this point, because these are only really soft colours. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the speckled egg. And I'm going to take that off the top of the straight line, like so. Okay. I'm just going to work the detail with what's on the brush, but also a bit of speckled egg over the top. Same with this centre one here. And that's more so that I can see where the detail is, so if I want to go back in after and do some drawing, I can do. Cool, blimey, time's flying today, but we're a bit late starting, weren't we? So. Okay, so with that done, let's put the lid back on the ink. And time for the reveal. So let's take that away, and we've got a snow globe. So, dark grey pencil crayon. And I'm just going to go back in. And the good news is you don't even have to be good at drawing for this bit, because you've already got a line to go to. Keeping it in the line's a bit more of a important skill here. You know it's a bad day when. So I'm just deepening that down towards the bottom of the little fleur-de-lis. And I will hold this up so that you can get a bit of a closer look as well. As it is quite pale, and we tend to push the lighting up on our camera as well so that you can see a bit better in most cases, but on pale stuff it kind of washes it out. There we go. And I'm going to go for the outside in on the little cross sections. And then just deepen that down just in there. Okay, so this edge here is just a bit pale, so I'm just going to do a little bit of tint in there, just so that it comes out a bit clearer. So let's get our blue nice and subtly just go over the edge there. So you want it so that every shape can be reasonably easy to read for your scan and cut. So check around the edges of all the individual shapes. Anything you think it might struggle with, just give it a little bit of a light tone. Doesn't even have to be super duper hard. You can just sketch it in. So you can see it a bit better. You okay? Did you take that painkiller? Not working yet.
It's just pinged.
So for those of you that don't know, Ian's hurt himself. Pansy's at home and with us, because usually you'd have to be asleep.
Better off asleep at the moment.
You can go and sleep if you want to, Ian. Don't mind. I've got this. Okay. So I'm just going to do the same round here as well. Just check each section, and if there's anything that you just think it's just never going to see that in a month for Sundays, just darken it down. So just gonna go do this edge here. As I said, if you were leaving this so that it was just going to be on the card as is, you wouldn't have to do this bit. But if you want the scan and cut to cut it out for you, then we have to go a little bit darker. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is with this particular image, you've got all this detailed snowflake section. And while us as human beings can go, yeah, I can see that, you know, that is supposed to be a circle that goes around there. Scan and cut can't always see it, so what I'm going to show you is a bit of a way to fool it, but we're still going to need to be able to see it on the background scan. Okay, I'm just going to pop a little bit just on these edges here. Like so. We're nearly done. Otherwise, I'm just going to get into doing far too much detail. Because I love colouring, and this is quite therapeutic. There we go.
That's my live 3 times this week. Just spread it across the 3.
Could do, yeah. I mean, I was thinking of 3 separate Snowglobe projects, but we can do this one if you want, so that you can all go away and have a go. If you haven't got this stencil, or one like it, then you can actually create one on your scan and cut, but you will need to do so in Canvas. So how do you go about it? First of all, do your solid shape first, so the outside of your snow globe. So keep it nice and simple while you're getting started. So absolute beginners, it's a circle with a rectangle and then you can put 2 little feet if you want to, and then weld it together. If you're an improver, so you're going to be a bit more confident, then start off with a circle, and then you've got some funky shaped rectangles that you can use, and then you can do some feet. If you're a pro, then start off with a circle, and then you can actually build your base using the pen tool and weld that together. Once you've got your silhouette welded and into one shape, then you can start to do things like putting the snowflakes in, so that we're coming down this edge here. Now, if you want to do it so that it crops off at the bottom of your snow globe, what you need to do is you're going to do your snowflakes and your circle first. So you draw your circle, you add your snowflakes, then do a subtraction, so your circle's at the back and your snowflakes are on top. They're going to subtract through, so that's going to give you that shape. Then do your base and weld that, and that's going to crop that section for you. And if you really want to go wild, then you can go into the realms of doing all of the line work for your base as well. So given the time and how much I have to do today, I'm going to leave it there for you to have a go. I will try and pop up a bit of a visual about how you can go about doing your own snow globe later on. I am working on the Affinity Designer version 2 cheat sheets today, so with a view to getting those uploaded for sale later today. So that will go out on the Plannercraft page when that's available, and hopefully we should be able to do digital and print, but we'll see how we go. It may just be print to start with. It depends on whether someone will let me do a download yet.
No, I don't think so.
No, so I may have to do the digital version through Creative Fabrica. So if you're not familiar with our Creative Fabrica page, do go and have a look. And
Don't forget your discount code.
don't forget your discount code. So if you are buying anything from Craft Store Direct, then you have a discount code in the bottom corner that you can use, and that will work on supplies, consumables, machines, you name it. The only thing it won't work on is anything in the clearance section. So I have some really fun materials I've been using, so do go and check out their blog, because I think it'll either be today or tomorrow, one or the other. There is a really cool bauble project that is going up using image transfer, so that's something you can do if you have a laser printer with your scan and cut, and it's lots of fun and it's addictive. I warn you now, it's addictive. I'm also going to be putting up the starter workshops for the new year as well, so if you want to share those out, feel free to do so. Take care and bye.